Hello, and welcome to Handled-ish Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm your host, Betsy Hayes, and I am so happy you're here with me in podcast land or on YouTube. And this is episode 41. And in this episode, I want to talk about having the holiday season be more of what you want. You can also think of this as productive holidays. So before we get started, the holidays are approaching as I record this. It's the beginning of November. And I think it is still not too late to design your holiday season to be more of what you want. I'm a firm believer that our holidays do not become closer to the way we want them to be without some foresight and some planning. This is not the season, in my opinion, that going with the flow or making decisions at the last minute tends to be truly helpful, and also doesn't really get you what you necessarily want. So, if you haven't already designed your holiday season, this is a great time to do that this week. And if you have, you may want to think about, fine tuning based on this conversation. But what I mean by designing your holidays is thinking about, what are the things that are truly, truly important to you? When we fast forward to the beginning of January and you reflect back over the last couple of months, what will you want to be thinking about? What events do you want to make sure that you attend? What events do you want to make sure you host, if anything? What people do you want to see? What people are you okay not seeing? What are your priorities for the next couple of months? And if you think about it now, you're able to make sure that all or most of that happen. Sometimes there are. Oh, and before we get to the logistics regarding what you want, I have found over the years that when I decide on a very small number of things that are really important to me and make sure that I attend or host those, that the holiday season works much better for me. I have to confess that, in years past, that I would want to do everything because there's so many wonderful opportunities for fun and festivity and family and friendships during the holidays that it's really easy to get overbooked. And many years ago, I learned my lesson because I was so exhausted and not enjoying the activities I was attending that I realized that, paring it down to a very, very small number of things was really the key to making my holiday season the way I wanted it to be for me and also for my family. So, what are the things that are truly, truly important? And you will find that often these are things that you do year after year. These become traditions. And so that's where they're important to you. If those are the types of things you want to make sure that you have on the agenda, now's the time to lock those in. If you want to do sort of a hybrid, these are the things that we normally do and I love. And perhaps, you can have a blank, right? And we're also going to do one additional thing that we don't even know exists yet. And we're going to make sure we include that too. Um, so let's just talk about some specific examples. So let's just say you really enjoy, going to see Christmas lights. Typically, in most areas, there is more than one opportunity to see Christmas lights. Maybe there's several different locations in your city, and think about what is the one that you really want to do, and figure out when exactly you're going to do it, who you're going to do it with. And let's, book that on the calendar as soon as possible, maybe even this week. If you have several locations in your city or in your region, you may want to rotate year after year. And that way there's always something fresh and new, but you're still doing the tradition of Christmas lights or holiday lights. Boutiques, a lot of folks have holiday boutiques. It is impossible to go to all of them, and to be honest with you, that would definitely, shrink the fun. So what are the one or two, that you really want to go to? When are they? Who do you want to go with? Let's figure out how to do that. Let's book it. Let's put it on the calendar. Because, you certainly, if this is important to you in January, you don't want to think, oh man, once again, I didn't go to any holiday boutiques because I didn't plan ahead. If you want to do any holiday, sort of entertainment, right? Maybe it's a play or a playhouse that you like to go to their holiday or Christmas play. Maybe it's a choir that you like to go to their holiday singing event. In my family, we usually do a holiday play at one of our favorite spots, and I will often buy those tickets in September as soon as they are available to make sure that we get what we want and the day that we want and all of that. And then people have to make decisions early, right? Like, are you in or are you out? And it's okay, right? No matter what, people decide, but then I know that I'm going to get to go, and the folks that is also important to get to go, and it's already on the calendar, and nothing else can mess with it. A new tradition in my family is to go see. I have a dear friend who sings in a choir here in town, and they do a holiday event with our local symphony. And I went last year, and it was so fabulous that I want that to be on my short list of events that I attend. So I made sure that I also purchased tickets for that. And again, are you in? Are you out? No worries. But let's get that solidly booked. And those are going to be, the holiday related events for my family this year. Often I will do a Jingle Bell walk. That's what they call it in my town, where it's a walk for, we raise money and donate things to Toys for Tots, and you go down what's called Christmas Tree Lane, and you get to see all the houses that are decorated, and I love to walk and to exercise, and to do it for supporting nonprofits is obviously fabulous. Clearly this year I'm not doing it, right? So because walking is not in any sort of an athletic mode right now. But I, have it on my short list for next year because it's something I really value and appreciate. And I don't always go with the same people. I have a couple of friends who really like to do it. Sometimes, they're all available. Sometimes only one is. But I make sure I reach out. And so therefore I get to go, and I get, to go with someone I care about so I can spend time with them. Um, the Whatever is important to you is what we're talking about here. Maybe your work has a holiday party and you want to make sure that's a priority. Mine doesn't have one, so that's actually pretty easy, right? I don't have to worry about fitting it in the schedule. My children are not in elementary school anymore, so I don't have those Christmas programs. But if you have small children, find out when those Christmas programs are and put them on the calendar so nothing else interferes with you going to those. And make sure that your children's calendars are also available for that and their activities. If you're going to be traveling, you've probably made your plans before now, but if not, it's time to figure out who you're going to visit if you're going to be visiting, and how long are you staying, who's going, who's not going, what the situation is going to be. Are you going to stay at someone's house? You're going to have to rent a hotel. Sometimes these are the same year after year, sometimes they're not, but figuring all of that out early gets everyone to have it booked on their calendar, and also, gives you all this wonderful stuff to look forward to. So if you're doing any holiday traveling, um, and food, right? Sometimes you are hosting meals, sometimes you are going to places where there are holiday meals and you're asked to contribute. Let's get all those ducks in a row too. And the more specific you are, and the more direct you are with the people involved, the happier everything is for everybody. If you really want people to bring dishes and contribute, it's really important to give them a heads up. It is really great for you to be very specific. That is kind to your guests. Hey, I would like you to, bring, this type of appetizer. Maybe give them two choices, X or Y. Or I really would like you to bring red wine or white wine or soda. I'd like you to bring a non-chocolate dessert, or a chocolate dessert, or a salad or a mashed potatoes. The more specific that your request is, the more likely you are going to get the meal that you appreciate and really want to have. When we give vague instructions like, oh, just bring a side dish, just bring, something to go with the, roast or whatever. That's when we get a lot of duplicates and then not necessarily the variety that, everybody wants in a holiday meal. So figure out what you're going to make, figure out who is going, assign things to those folks, and keep a list of who's bringing what, so that way if someone ends up not being able to come, you can either make that dish yourself or assign it to someone else. And if there are paper products or or napkins or plates or anything that are chairs or any sort of logistical items, make sure that you ask folks about those so they can have that on their list, and you're not running around at the last minute going, oh my gosh, I really need folding chairs and I forgot to ask for them. Do you need folding chairs? Do you need folding tables? Do you need more tablecloths? Again, what food are you wanting to have? What do you need people to contribute? Make a list, figure it all out, and then assign everything to everyone, so they can, feel happy about contributing, and you can feel good that it will be the event that you want it to be. Sometimes, you want to make sure that all of your family. Also, I realized that when I first started talking about this, I was really wanting you to focus on what you wanted this holiday season to look like, which of course is extremely important. If you have, family members that are living with you, it's also a good idea to ask what is important to them this particular holiday season. What events are they looking forward to? What things could they absolutely get rid of and not be sad about? Sometimes we think things are important to our family members, and it turns out that maybe they've outgrown that, or it's not something that they truly value anymore. So have those conversations and have them early when there's less emotion involved and it's really just more procedural. Then things tend to go a little bit better. And but you want to, often we want to make sure that the people that are in our household and our sometimes our extended family too, get to have the holiday season that they want as well. The reason I'm bringing this up second is because, I don't want to have folks get into the mode where, they're trying to please everyone and make it the perfect holiday for everyone, because that's just a recipe for disaster. But gathering information, making decisions, and again, paring it down to just a few, a couple of things that you make sure you do. And then if you have the time and energy for some of the other things that come up, no problem. If something comes up and you just don't have the energy for, but you think it should be on next year's list, make a note of that. This can be an evolving thing. Most of us have things that we really like to do year after year, and then it is fun to do a new thing on occasion, or maybe even do a new thing every year. But really be thoughtful and really, really, really pare it down. When we are bringing things to a holiday meal, it's often really nice to, say, hey, I'd like to bring X. Is that okay with you? If the host or hostess has not shared with you exactly what they want you to bring, if they give you vague instructions, be specific about what you want to bring and do it early, right? So if you really want to bring mashed potatoes, that you are the one who claims mashed potatoes, and that way, you've got that. If this is something you do on a regular basis, it might be good, again, reducing decision fatigue, to, bring the same thing every time. And, let the host know, hey, I'm going to bring my famous-ish, pumpkin pie or chocolate chip bars or artichoke dip or, whatever it is. So that way, what you're bringing and it's not a stress on you. And the host also knows that you're bringing that, and that's something that they can count on. It doesn't, again, variety is the spice of life, but there are lots of times when bringing the same dish every year and perhaps doing a similar event every year is also has tremendous value and reduces the stress. So that is something I'd like you to think about as well. There are a lot more things that you could streamline from a holiday perspective. And I just wanted to introduce a few ideas, but mainly the concept of designing your holiday season, figuring out what's truly important to you, book those things in advance, buy the tickets, put it on people's calendar, whatever it is, to make sure that it happens. And coupled with that, sometimes it's okay for stuff to bleed over into January. I know a lot of people whose favorite holiday traditions actually don't happen till after the first of the year because they want to wait for things to calm down. Maybe this is a annual thing that you do with friends, right? It's always that first weekend in January and you get together and a lot of times the homes are still decorated for the holidays, so it's very festive and then things can be a little bit more relaxed. There's been years that I have done that. You know what? Oh my gosh, forget it. Let's not do it in December. Let's go ahead and do it in January. Particularly if you have small kids at home and there's a lot of activities going on for them, that might be just a perfect way to do it. Anything grown-uppy, let's go ahead and put it in January. So again, you want to have a stress-free, relatively relaxed holiday season that you really enjoy. Figure out how much you want to decorate. It doesn't have to be hardcore every year. You don't even have to decorate if you don't want to. You can also do a subset of decorating if that's what you're feeling this particular year. Again, if with your immediate family, say, hey, what are the things that you really like to see out every year in the home? And maybe just have everybody's favorites if you're just not feeling like, doing as much as you normally do. Or you could, make it a festive occasion where everybody helps, right? That's obviously great. Hey, Tuesday night, we're going to decorate the tree. We're going to decorate the house. I expect everyone to be there. We're having pizza. It's going to be a joint thing. You certainly don't have to do everything yourself. However, expecting people to know intuitively that you need and want help is not a good recipe for happiness. Be very specific. Hey, I really would like y'all's help with X. I would really love, for you to come over and help me with this. And then I can help you with something, if you're trading that particular type of activity with a friend. Hey, come over and hang out with me while I decorate my house, and I'll come over and hang out with you while you decorate your house, right? Sometimes we just need a buddy, moral support, and then it's fun. I actually did that with my mom this past weekend. She just wanted me to come over for moral support while she decorated for Thanksgiving. And it was a lot of fun. She did her thing and I kept her company, and we talked about, the history of the various things that she put out, the decorations and where she got them, and, whether I remembered them or not from years past and what was new and blah, blah, blah. And really had a good time with that. So that is a social activity that can perhaps be good too. Yeah, but just spend some time, brainstorm and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season that you deserve to have. Everyone definitely deserves that. So I want to know what you think. Thank you so much for joining us today, or joining me today. I always say us because I feel like we're in this together. I'm at Betsy Hayes on social media, and my website betsyahayes.com. That's Betsy, the letter A, Hays.com. And, to keep this going, please, rate and review, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Would love to know how you make your holiday sane. How do you plan things? Do you, make a list of a very specific amount of things that you only do, and then the rest, is up to people's energy levels. Oh, I thought of one other thing. If you have movies or television shows that are really important and you want to watch them, I would encourage scheduling those as well. The years that I have thought that would just fit into the nook and crannies, that hasn't happened. Same thing with, baking and all of that. When are you going to do it? Because if you just leave it to the nook and crannies, obviously it's not, or not obviously, but often it's not going to happen. So tune in next week for the next episode of Handled-ish, Productivity for the Imperfect. Until then, take care, be kind to yourself. You are doing way better than you think you are. Trust me.